1.21 gigawatts! No, we're not talking about gigawatts today. We're talking about kilowatts. Hey there, folks. I am the Mighty Plantain, and this is Killawatt, which is a lemon habanero IPA from Orono Brewing right here in Maine. It says here it's a 6.9% ABV. Heat from habanero peppers nicely balanced by citrusy hops and the addition of lemon. Galaxy Citra and El Dorado hops shine through. We used our knowledge and love for brewing to create the contents of this can. Please enjoy fresh, dedicated brewing with Maine grains. Orono Brewing Company in Orono, Maine, of course. So, here's the thing. The Killawatt. It is a lemon habanero IPA. So, the habanero would imply that it's hot and spicy and hot, and they have given in the description that it's supposed to be spicy. I've had a couple of spicy beers lately that have claimed to be way hotter than they were. Mason's Ghost Reaper comes to mind. Now, it didn't claim to be extremely hot, but when you hear ghost pepper, you think a high amount of heat. And it did have a good, decent burn, but it was not ghost pepper hot. The other one I'm thinking of was Clown Shoes La Bestia Furiosa. And that one actually did claim to be extremely hot. And it wasn't. It did have a decent burn to it, but it was not the stomach melting heat that you would have expected after reading the label. So let's see how Killawatt stacks up. Now I think I'm getting a whiff of some spice right now. A little bit. It's tickling the nose. Now it is slightly cloudy. So there's probably some hop oils in there, as it is an IPA. So citrus and heat. That's going to be an interesting combination. Most of the time people try to combine sweet with heat or IPAs with some heat. But I haven't seen one that specifically highlights citrus and to the point where it says lemon habanero IPA. So that sour lemon citrus with the habanero heat could be an interesting juxtaposition. The cloudiness is just a cloudiness. There doesn't seem to be any flecks or flocks or particulates, that's the word I'm looking for, in there. It's not very effervescent. There's not a lot of bubbles coming up through there. But it is a nice pale yellow that it turns to orange when it gets thicker, and there's less light coming through because the beer is more thick in that part of the glass. Tickling the nose with a little bit of heat, and there is some lemon coming through. Mostly, overall, a little bit of heat, some citrus, hint of lemon. There's a nice medium mouthfeel there. Up front, getting a general hoppy bitterness. A little bit of focus on citrus. I can't wait to dig out my 22-ounce semi-perfect pint glass, and I can pour these whole 16 ounces in there. The heat's starting to come through in the back of the throat and on the soft palate. It's got a nice pucker factor. And there's some decent citrusiness coming through. And the heat's starting to intensify. It is an interesting combination. There's an overall hoppy bitterness up front. You get a nice mouthful of hops with no distinct esters coming through. And then that citrusy, that overall citrusy flavor comes through. And it does turn into a bit of lemon. Ooh. So what I'm getting now is I'm getting a nice amount of heat in here. Pardon. That's coming up through the soft palate on the back of the tongue. And it is starting to move down into the belly. So there is a decent amount of heat there. It's not overwhelming, it's not crazy, but as I drink more of this beer, the heat intensifies. So I do like that. And the lemon is really coming through in the finish. It's an interesting combo because I'm getting a nice big mouthful of hops up front. So it's like a general non-specific IPA. But then that heat kind of comes through, which is kind of cool and different. And different, not indifferent. The heat's nice. But that heat slowly intensifies as you drink it. It kind of builds. And then the specific lemon flavor, specifically lemon, because you're getting a bit of citrusy flavor from the hops after the overall hoppy bitterness, but then the lemon itself comes through in the finish with that building heat. That's kind of nice. So yeah, it's like a decent IPA. Well, it is a decent IPA. It's marketed as an IPA with this non-specific hoppy bitterness, a nice medium mouthfeel, which means it's got a good malt backbone. There's no malt character that's actually interfering with the hoppiness. It's just kind of there. The general graininess of the beer. But that hoppiness then resolves into citrus. This slowly building heat. Now, it doesn't claim to be fiery hot. It doesn't claim to be ridiculously hot. It just says it's got some spice to it, which it does. So I'm not disappointed by the level of heat in this one, because habanero implies a certain level of heat, and I'm getting that. It's slowly building to that. Unlike, like I said, the Mason's Ghost Pepper, you kind of expect it to be up a whole notch from habanero, and it just fell flat. I watched the review for that beer. I'm going to post a link up here in the cards. Actually, it probably came up earlier in the video, but it's great beer in and of itself. It just doesn't live up to what you would expect from a ghost pepper heat. This habanero is meeting that expectation, and the Clown Shoes La Bestia Furiosa does not quite live up to the description. But with this, it's an habanero IPA with lemon, so it does live up to the description. I'm really, really enjoying this one. I'm going to hit this with a 5 out of 5. I think the complexity of the brew, the fact that it's got the right level of heat for what it says on the label, and that juxtaposition of the citrusy flavor that turns into specific lemon in the finish with that slowly building heat, it's really, really, really impressing me. And I wouldn't mind getting a few of these. Man, as I'm talking and letting it rest on the palate and then licking my lips, I'm getting like that lemon drop flavor. It's pretty cool. So, I am impressed. Full 5 out of 5 from me. Ooh, pardon. But That's just what I have to say about Killawatt. Hit me up down in the comments, the email link down below. Love to hear your opinion on the beer yourself. Whether you agree or disagree with me, either way, it's great to hear from you. While you're down there, don't forget to like and share the video. And if you really like what you saw, make sure to subscribe. Till next time, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.